Maybe the weakest link in the karma, the physiological karma, the wear and tear karma of a nudist are the eyes, because maybe the pitfall, or the easiest pitfall for a nudist, is falling into the trap of seeing and being seen, which is a strain upon the eyesight, while probably the best use of nudity is not the sense of sight, but the sense of touch. How does it feel? But to fall into the trap of sight, how do I look, what am I looking at, might be a strain on the eyes, and that might be where the karma, the wear and tear karma, because it's not, we paint sometimes things with such a broad brush that we make it sound like it's an absolute, when it's really something very specific. Living, basically, puts wear and tear on the physiology, and wherever we put our attention the most, we develop it, but we can also wear it out, depending on how we use it. Because as Patanjali says in his Yoga Sutras, either we're heading in one direction or the other. Either we're, or as Charlie Lutz would say, we're involving ourselves, getting more involved with material existence, or we're evolving ourselves out of material existence. And that's pretty much the way Patanjali put it. We're either an experience, we can only have one of two experiences. Either it enlightens us, or it gives us relative experience involving the senses and the relative world. So if the eyes become worn out, then we fail to evolve them. We fail to cultivate the eyes. And as a nudist, this is kind of important because it means really just an oversight in which we use the eyes, but we didn't take the trouble to cultivate the sensibility of sight, of seeing. So I'm saying all this in hindsight because the bathing procedure using salt MSM and silver hydroperoxide and a trace amount of silica gel, I had way too much silver in there, so now I make the same batch. It's about a 9-hour duration of making colloidal silver, and then adding either 2 or 3 ounces of hydrogen peroxide, 35% strength, food grade. But I only use half of it per bath instead of the full amount. And that makes, or fails to make, the bathtub water cloudy. It ends up being clear, which is the way it's supposed to be. There's not supposed to be any suspended oxidized particles of silver making it milky white. It should be, clear, like clear water, clear tap water. And so that's what it is now that I'm using half as much silver. That shows all the silver is in solution, it's dissolved, and none of it is precipitated out, hanging around, not being utilized because it's not in solution. It's only the silver in solution that's going to get absorbed by the body anyway. So I'm not wasting silver, and there's also less hydrogen peroxide there. So, because I reacted it against the silver, and it retains its oxidative properties to some degree, because it is a hydroperoxide still. It just lost one hydrogen atom, got replaced by one silver atom, but it still has some oxidation to it, which means it can burn. And when I had that dosage making it milky white in the bathtub, I couldn't open my eyes at all underwater. But now that it's clear, I can. And it's bearable. I can do it for a couple of minutes. And that's one area of the body I should take advantage of trying to rejuvenate, are the eyes. Instead of, keeping them closed every time I immerse my face in the bath water. I'm in there for at least 45 minutes. I should be doing my eyes for some of that time. So now I can. And I'm wondering, because I've always linked several different things together, the kidneys with the eyes, with the feet, walking. And if I'm surmising that the regeneration of the foreskin could be impeded by the lack of rejuvenation of the kidneys, and if the kidneys are linked to the eyes, then worn-out kidneys are worn-out eyes. The eyes become tired of seeing, and the kidneys become tired of action, of that adrenaline surge that motivates us to get involved and do stuff. And, of course, we're not trees stuck in one spot. We got 2 feet to move us around so that we can do things. So it could be that the eyes, the kidneys, and the feet are all linked up, along with the whole urinary tract, which involves the tail end of which is the foreskin. So it's funny that something that could start with the eyes, kidneys, and feet ends up with the foreskin that's not there. It's kind of like that joke where you've got a lineup of children, oldest, the next oldest, down to the youngest, and each one is telling the younger one to do what the eldest didn't want to do, what the parent told it to do, told the eldest to do. And they keep in line passing it to the next one saying, well, you do it, because I'm, implying that I'm not going to do it. And the last one in the line looks and there's nobody to pass it to, and they're stuck with it. So, if it's the job of the bare head of the penis to perform the function of the foreskin when it was not designed to do so, that sucks, because it's stuck with an ultimatum, what becomes an ultimatum, that it should not be its job to do. So all that lineage of things should have gotten passed to the foreskin to do automatically, because it was designed to do it, in that long line of passing the buck of command, so to speak, that started with the kidneys, eyes, and feet, and could end up with the foreskin if it were there for it to end up at. But it's not there. So taking long walks is good. Taking rest to the kidneys or the adrenal glands attached to the kidneys is good. Drinking lots of fluids is good for the kidneys, actually. But the eyes, how do we involve the eyes? And it could be that they must be the most important thing to regenerate when taking a bath. In order to regenerate, yeah, I mean, if the whole point was to support the body so that the body could support the foreskin regeneration, or else why would I go to all this trouble to develop the bath to replace the sleep circuit? Then it kind of stands to reason that it's not the crotch immersed in the bath that's so important, but should be the eyes of all things. Now, I removed my snorkel from the bath because the snorkel was soft rubber, so why don't I just come up with an alternative that's safe, like a bamboo, a hollow bamboo. There are such things as bamboo straws, breathing straws. I mean, we see them used in the movies, right? The actors are immersed in the river and they're floating along and nobody sees them except this little reed, or a hollow reed. Something that is suitable in that bath solution that won't cause problems, but be able to stay submerged and breathe instead of having to hold my breath, which is a little inconvenient. So it's a technical problem. So it was two. One was having too much silver and hence too much hydrogen peroxide in the bath, such that I couldn't open my eyes at all. And then the second one is what do I use to breathe with so that I can stay with my face submerged for longer periods of time? Because I have problems with my face not getting cleansed, the pores, by soaking it underwater for lengthy periods. And so I end up with a dirty face and the rest of my body is squeaky clean after the bath is done with. So how do I correct that problem as well? So I got to come up with a solution on how to breathe underwater. I'm not sure how to solve it. But a bamboo straw of some kind. Might be just the ticket, maybe, except they tend to be straight. I need something curved, don't I? Not necessarily. You know what I've come to learn is to stick 2 fingers up my nostrils to plug my nose, because then by doing this I'm covering this area of the nose, and so I'll tend to get pimples where I covered them. So by putting my fingers up my nose, I don't cover anything, and that's about the only right way to plug the nose underwater if you have to do it. So that means I could lay on my back and plug up my nose with one hand and hold the straw in my mouth with the other and breathe and keep the face immersed. If I raise my legs out of the water, that presses the upper part of the body, the upper part of the torso down due to the cantilever, acting like a cantilever effect. Legs go up, head goes down. And then the head would be able to be kept underwater even though I'm breathing, because otherwise, air in the lungs would tend to buoy the upper body out of the water and create a struggle there, because I want the head underwater. So maybe I should go looking online for bamboo reeds, straws, or something. I don't know, something along those lines. I got to think of something. The wood will become discolored in the presence of silver. It will blacken. I've made the mistake of using wooden spoons to stir silver hydroperoxide, and they do turn black. They do react with the silver, which means you're taking silver out of solution. Ooh, that's not a good idea. And then the silver is going to want to be attracted to the silver that's in the spoon, and the whole thing will escalate. Ooh, that's not good. I gotta come up with something better. Oh, shoot. Plastic doesn't work. Glass is not safe. Is Teflon supposed to be safe? I think so. And polypropylene. Yeah, that's what this food... Well, no, these food containers are turning black. It took a while. Porcelain. There you go. You can come up with a porcelain straw. Food glazed porcelain straw. I wonder if there is such a thing. I don't know, I'm going to have to do some research on this, on breathing tubes that would be made of a suitable material. Okay. Or else just use disposable plastic, like pipettes. As I recall, pipettes can be sold or bought like 100 count at a time, real cheap, and just cut off the 2 ends, and when it gets too black, discard it and replace it with another one. That's another way, is not use something non-replaceable, but use something replaceable and just get rid of it once it's... Wait, it should be coated with something. What if I coated the exterior with wax, with beeswax? That might be the smartest thing I could think of. Then I could use a wood straw. Just, you put your finger over the top and immerse it in hot beeswax and make several coatings, and then do the other side. And the total exterior will be covered in beeswax. That might work. Because the beeswax may not react with the silver hydroperoxide. That might work. So I'll have to... Oh! Well, that means that I could use a plastic straw. And I got plenty of those. Well, there you go. Hey, I think I just solved the problem. Okay, and then, of course, the other thing to do is open your mouth and then swirl the water in and out so that it bathes the gums and teeth. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to do. Yeah, I just haven't been busy thinking of ways to submerge the face. Okay, I can do this. Well, I'm glad we had this chat. Work out these technical details. Okay, here I just took a bunch of straws, bunched them together, tied it off with a tie strip up there, and right above the bent part down here, and cut off the excess so as not to get in the way of my face. Bent it a little, so now I got myself a snorkel, a disposable snorkel, out of drinking straws. See how this works, I don't know.